What's up, everybody? My name is Sam Darden. If you guys are new, please make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and turn your post notification bells on. Make sure you leave a friendly comment down below. I'm about to do the 8 extreme haunted houses that take it too far. Let's do this.
Number 8. Dead of Night. Dead of Night was an attraction on Long Island which had one of the most horrifying haunt openings many had ever seen. Everyone waited in lines listening to a calming "We are here for your protection" recording.
Everything will be okay. You are safe. We are here to protect you and care for you. We love you. Nothing is real. All is well.
Which was interrupted at intervals by an air raid siren and men in gas masks and suits, who each grabbed an unsuspecting patron and dragged them into the haunt. However, you'd be lucky if you were dragged in. Some people were zipped into body bags, and some were thrown over actors' shoulders and carried inside. The haunt opened with this very strong abduction scenario. Then the focus shifted to humiliation, which included the smearing of strange substances on patrons' faces, and even hitting people in the face with large and painfully heavy objects, going as far as fake genitalia. Dead of Night has been discontinued from the Chamber of Horrors this past year. Number 7. Scarehouse The Basement. The basement at Scarehouse is an intense, immersive, and interactive experience inside a nearly 100-year-old historic and apparently actually haunted building. You may enter in pairs or alone, though odds are not many people will be entering this place alone. The actors in this haunted house are incredibly convincing, and there's a lot of improvisation and dialogue as you make your way through each scene of your own personal horror movie. It's not possible to make it from start to end without coming into contact and having to deal with the actors playing with you for a while. There is extreme physical contact, sexual undertones, real electric shock, religious themes, and much more. Like most on this list, you must sign a waiver before entering. The basement can get so disturbing that the attraction responsibly has a safe word to yell out if a patron happens to feel violated or too uncomfortable. Number 6. The Cult. The Cult was an attraction located in North Conway, New Hampshire. The Cult has been called the ultimate in terror, only for the die-hard fans of true horror, for those who want the true experience of real-life terror to test your fears. It is an hour-long attraction and you must walk through alone, absolutely no groups allowed. Going through it, you would encounter violent and sexual situations, and would be touched many times. Many, many times. As the nervous patrons meet a man before entering the attraction who asks if they have any problems with darkness, heights, claustrophobia, eels, rats, bugs, needles, or being fully submerged in water, one would have to wonder, what am I getting myself into? Patrons are given a red card on a lanyard. If one decides the experience is too much, they can give up their safety pass and it will be over. And then, one by one, patrons would be asked to step into a chairlift that leads to a dirt path, which would then lead to a cabin where you would meet a man who would shove you into a booth, yell at you, spray unknown liquids in your mouth, throw a bag over your head, and then carry you outside, where the simulated torture continues. As one continues on, it only gets worse. Throughout the attraction you would encounter live animals, for instance having cockroaches crawl over you, forced edibles, for instance being forced to drink animal urine, extreme violence, extreme sexual violence, and much more. The Cult has been...
Whoa, whoa, whoa. What kind of haunted house is this? I'm never going to that haunted house ever. We had to sign a waiver? No, I'm not going here. What on earth? Why would people go here? That's like creepy. I'm not going here. That have they lost their dog on mine? That's like bad and dangerous and creepy. I'm never going to that haunted house whatsoever. Nope. I rather go to a safe haunted house that's full of groups and have group of friends coming with me and have groups going. that would be perfectly fine with me. I'm not having no cockroaches crawling on me, drinking animal urine. That's disgusting. Going back to this weird, creepy video. Good Lord. Lord help those people that went to the haunted house.
Closed since 2013.
Good.
Number 5. Blackout Haunted House. This haunted house has 2 locations, one in New York and one in California.
No.
It features extreme violence, full frontal nudity, sexual situations, forced edibles, submersion in water, physical contact, and you must enter alone. Patrons have been abducted in vans, faux waterboarded, and even rolled naked in a sheet of plastic and forced to walk barefoot down a used condom-covered hallway. Said hallway would lead to a sexual assault scene, with a horrifically tall figure having sex with a frail woman in a blood-covered bed. As a patron would pass, the tall man would stand up exposing his nude body and then make physical contact with the patron. Blackout overall relies on darkness, loud noises, violence, and sexual situations to terrify its customers. Until recently, it has been a solo-only experience, but now groups are allowed. Number 4. Shocktoberfest Naked and Scared Challenge. Shocktoberfest has proven that, along with intellectual and physical fears, haunted houses can also tap into superficial fears, namely the fear of one's own body. The Naked and Scared Challenge allows guests to traverse a dark haunted house nearly nude, literally stripping off outer layers of protection. However, after a brief battle with a local township, the creator of the attraction decided he couldn't allow guests to participate naked, so guests are now to wear the smallest underwear they could fit into. Guests of the attraction have said removing clothing makes the experience more intrusive, personal, and intimate. Employees use special techniques and scare devices, for example, water and air blasts among others, to heighten the experience. Coupled with near-freezing fall weather, it becomes a rush for those who are daring enough to go through in their underwear. When patrons have that psychological layer of protection removed, it's a whole new sense that's available to be entertained and exploited. Number 3. Freakling Bros Victim Experience 3. This Las Vegas attraction features partial nudity, submersion in water, electric shock, and extreme physical contact. The victim experience is incredibly intense, and you must go through alone. Patrons will experience extreme physical contact, light torture, simulated drowning, and more. One patron said he watched a camouflaged attacker appear out of nowhere, grab his colleague by the foot, then knock her down and drag her away down a long hallway. He was left alone in the darkness until the attacker came back for him and threw him over his shoulder. Patrons will experience real electric shock, as well as the feeling of near drowning as they are submerged underwater. As the title of the attraction suggests, once you enter, you are a victim. You will experience pain, you will be tied up, and you may be carried and thrown. Freakling Brothers actually runs 3 haunted houses every year: Castle Vampire, Circus of Horrors, and Gates of Hell. The Gates of Hell became one of the first haunted houses in the country to be R-rated due to graphic content and the requirement of patrons to be over 18 and sign a waiver. The victim experience takes place in the Gates of Hell, and it simulates what it would be believed to be like to die and actually go to hell. Without giving too much away, victims are put in several scenes where they're touched, forced to get down on their knees, and subjected to things that anyone would find shocking. Number 2. The Raven's Nest. One of the lesser-known extreme haunted houses, the Raven's Nest has been closed since 2009. It had been closed after it was deemed as too extreme by the town. The Raven's Nest featured actors who were paid to induce pain on the patrons, as well as other humiliating methods of torture. The owner, Mike McMayer, would hire mostly larger, more intimidating actors who would be capable of easily picking up, tying, or shoving patrons. Visitors would also be kicked to the floor and forced to do things like lick the ground, eat disgusting foods and liquids off the floor, and even have actors stick their fingers down patrons' throats to induce vomiting. The attraction also played with claustrophobia, having patrons crawl through air vents filled with real cockroaches and spiders, as well as constant tight and cramped rooms and pathways. There was no safe word, which may have been a small factor in the eventual closing of the Raven's Nest. Number 1. McCamey Manor. This San Diego attraction shouldn't even be in the same category as regular haunted house attractions. This extreme haunt tops this list because it can use scare tactics that are off limits to professional attractions. It also can't be said that what goes on in this place is safe.
That's sad if you can't whistle, but good because I can't whistle. What's... Please let me out, please!
Participants are covered in blood, forced to eat disgusting things, threatened with power tools, stuffed in a clothes dryer, submerged in water, physically assaulted, forced to drink urine, and even given an unwanted haircut.
Done.
Are you quitting? Say it then.
I'm quitting.
No, you're not. Pick her up here. Pick her up here.
Participants often leave covered in blood, commonly their own, and so far nobody has made it through to the end. There is no safe word, and they only pull the plug when medically necessary. This house plays with people's fears of claustrophobia, with tight spaces and corridors, people's fears of spiders, with restrained victims having up to or even more than 4 tarantulas crawling over their faces, people's fears of clowns, and just about anything else you could think of. Perhaps one of the more shocking parts is that the experience goes on for about 5 to 8 hours, maybe hence why nobody's made it through to the end yet. The McCamey Manor house is for extreme horror lovers only who wish to experience what true terror or gross-out torture feels like. But apparently there are a lot of people who wish to experience it, as there's a waiting list of more than 17,000.
So this is our video to you, Russ. Wish us luck. Checking in, everybody. If we don't talk to you again, we love you all. Mwah. Bye. See you soon. See ya. Hopefully. Maybe. I don't know. I want to quit! I want to quit! I want to quit!
Get those hands up. Why are you crying? Why are you crying?
Because I'm a big pussy, Russ.
Yeah. What are you doing? You guys are fucking freaking me out.
Sorry, sir.
It's because you're useless. Steven!
I'm scared.
Yeah. You know, we haven't started yet. We haven't started yet. We haven't started yet. We haven't started yet. Why are you crying?
I'm scared, Russ.
Yeah, I'm glad you're scared. Okay, give us more water. Let me relax. You're okay. We're okay right now. Okay.
You all right?
Tell us what's going on, Steve. Tell us what's happening.
Nobody should fucking do this.
Yeah.
Nobody should do this.
Okay. Warning. Number 1, do not go to these haunted houses because this is like really dangerous, creepy, and weird, and really strange. And it's terrified me it terrified me through this whole video. I was literally terrified. Do not ever go to these haunted houses by yourself. Do not ever sign a waiver if you guys go to a haunted houses. Go to a safer one. We go with groups and stuff, with your friends and stuff. You don't have to worry about signing a waiver and all that. Please do not go to these haunted houses. I'm warning you. Please do not. This is like the most dangerous, scary haunted houses. You should not go. This is take you to extreme. Please, if you guys like this video, please give me a thumbs up, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn your post notification bells on. Thank you guys for watching this awesome video. And I'm still scared to this day. Right now, I'm still scared. Alright, goodbye you guys. Have a great day. Oh.